Hi, my name is Isabella Arizmendi, and today we are talking about our final capstone case study, Celeritas Incorporated. A little bit about Celeritas is they are a leading data communications company that was founded in 2003 by three MIT engineers. Additionally, they have had a notable reputation for their quality and innovation and nearly doubled its revenue each year until 2008, where their sales started to decrease. In 2011, the industry started to change and new technology was coming out, and Celeritas was not a top competitor in their field anymore. Philip Boyer saw that there were some issues in their executive branches, and so he brought in Carla Reese, who is an expert in organizational effectiveness, to help them and guide them into a better path for their future. Some of the concepts that Philip Boyer was concerned about was the high turnover rate for their employees, the team morale, and just their principal problems. Philip Boyer and Carla Reese came together to create a situation and how they can improve for the future. So that's one of the things that we are talking about is how Philip Boyer can do better and improve teamwork. And of course, the change starts with him. And in order for him to do that, he needs to make sure that he is a leader of authority and that he is a leader of encouragement as well. In order for him to create change, the change has to come from within. And second of all, another thing that Philip Boyer needs to work on is his effective communication within his executive branch. They need to get to the root of their problems, and by doing that, they need to go back to their mission and vision and what the company is truly about. Third, our recommendation is that Philip Boyer keeps focusing on the future, which is, of course, increasing the sales, but it's about fixing their internal problems at Celeritas in the moment. The main focus is about getting the company back to their roots and back to what they are truly about and coming together and working coordination and working cohesion together. Some notable players in this case study are Philip Boyer, which I said is a CEO, Carla Reese, who's an expert in the organizational effectiveness, and their five senior vice presidents. But Dave Lloyd was one of the guys who was talked about most in this case. He was the head of the sales and marketing division, and a lot of the problems stemmed from him.
Be going over a difference in leadership between Boyer and Reese, priorities, mismanagement of the SVPs, and the objective of the company. So first and foremost, we have to discuss the difference in leadership between Boyer and Reese. So Reese gathered ideas from the SVPs and implemented them without any personal decision. This indicates that she prepared others' ideas and incorporated them according to their demand. However, Boyer only listened to people and did whatever he wanted to do. He was eager to increase sales while she was working on the company's lack of togetherness. Boyer believes that he has the final say and can act and execute a decision without consulting any of the top 5 level executives. In order for trusted communication to be implemented, they must feel that they can trust and work with their leader, Boyer. Acting on decisions with one mind is not as strong as 5 or 6 minds working together to determine the best solution to an existing problem. Due to this flawed leadership quality of Celeritas' CEO, members below him feel a disconnect, and the attitude trickles down to the next members in line, leaving them feel as if they do not need to collaborate and aid each other to create success together. These problems assessed start with the leader because he sets the objectives and attitudes of how to work together and communicate amongst one another. The next main issue is priorities. First and foremost, the company must understand top objectives. For effective management, it is important to practice upward alignment rather than downward alignment. If the goals aren't furthering the objectives most valued by stakeholders, then the business will go distracted and go off track. Celeritas needs to align team goals with company goals. It is important to get every member and employee in your team moving in one direction, because if one cog in the wheel breaks, the entire operation falls. According to a Harvard Business study cited in a recent Workfront white paper, 95% of company employees are unaware or do not even understand their company's strategic plan. It is important to, it starts with the communication and collaboration between top levels and downward. Train the executives of Celeritas to assess task priority, work together to check all of these urgent tasks off stemming from One of the most to least important. Priorities management is an ongoing conflict, always moving and needing work and revision. Celeritas can implement this by communication, teamwork, and eliminating tasks one at a time. Next, we must discuss the mismanagement of SVPs. There's a lack of communication and trust amongst the divisional executives. They all have a different vision in mind as to how to work in teams and communication together. Executives were taking action instead of listening, which resulted in lack of cooperation. SVPs are narrow-minded and the company is based on those 5 divisions instead of working together as a whole. Boyer is not a strong leader in the sense that he can't resolve their issues without laying off one of the members to make everyone else happier. Carla Reese developed a strategy to conduct interviews with each SVP member and found tension and turmoil between the team quickly. Members were quick to point the finger at individuals and blame problems on one another instead of finding communicative solutions to these. These problems systematically trickled down from CEO Boyer and thus developed an ununified culture, creating tension and barriers between SVPs. According to Jack Welch's key principles of leadership, product of mismanagement comes from his oversights and operations. 2 main keys listed are building a team committed to fulfilling the objectives and knowing your objectives and having a plan to achieve them. We can see that Boyer nor the SVPs have a grasp on the objectives or missions, causing them to lack commitment, motivation, and overall collaboration. Another principle of Welch is to make sure everyone counts and know they count. The SVPs sit at a point of irritation and failure to negotiate problems at hand. Celeritas found a collaboration and innovation in the technology space, but since the 2 of the 3 founding fathers left, the company has not seen the same in management, since Boyer is the sole head of decision-making facing these problems on his own. Lastly, we will be discussing the objective of the company. Celeritas lost sight in vision, mission, and working in collaboration under the given circumstance. Everyone wanted to work autonomously and did not allow anyone to create ideas for their decisions. There was no room for improvement in sales because their goals were not in sync. The SVPs all have their own idea of how Celeritas should be doing and direction it should be taken for the future. Additionally, the SVPs were pointing fingers as to who the catalysts of their problems are instead of why their collaboration isn't fluid. Another reason individuals had lost sight of these qualities is that they had no faith in the continuation of making change. Celeritas is stuck in time while other companies are moving forward and selling new technology. The other individuals that work for Celeritas don't believe that executive group will change their habits. Boyer believes that the company's problems will be resolved in the span of 2 days. However, they need to practice and implement changes for years to come. According to Aaron Vick's Forbes article, 40% of millennial employees surveyed felt strongly connected to their company's mission. This is an alarming number considering the majority of individuals feel they need to have a meaningful job to engage with the company. Unfortunately, Celeritas does not work based on the company's mission rather than their own set of ideas.
All right, I'm going to be starting off with a recommendation slide, and my name is Clayton Allen. So for our 4 recommendations, we had enhancing collaboration through better communication, delegating tasks through transparency and efficiency, taking a step back and connecting the dots, and also refocusing on goals and priorities. First, we're going to be focusing on enhancing collaboration through better communication, and we recommended that Boyer must establish a baseline of communication standards with his executives and lower level employees, create a safe place for communication to enhance discussion and decision making, to work on low morale across the company. It can be improved through Boyer's efforts to train managers into better coaches, plan fun non-working activities for team building, and have your people and help your people develop both professionally and personally. He has the power to do this by providing teams with the resources they need to work together, encouraging people to socialize outside work, and respecting authority in the workplace and setting expectations for employees. Moving on to delegating tasks through transparency, we are going to talk about how Boyer should share the ups and downs of Celeritas for transparency through the workplace. He must act on feedback, and he should also set aside 30 minutes in their weekly meetings to discuss how each senior vice president is doing with their division. So we'll allow for more fluid communication throughout the workplace. As well, it will give a better understanding for the lower level employees, the leadership styles that are going on in their divisions. Next, we're going to be talking about taking a step back and connecting the dots. First off, he needs to create a clear set of cut goals for the company and set in stone a list of objectives and priorities that are agreed upon by all high-level executives. He should first break down the situation and solution into smaller parts so that his employees have a clear understanding of what the company goals and expectations are, while also creating a set path to reach company objectives as well. Secondly, he needs to become empathetic towards his employees. Lastly, we're going to be talking about refocusing on goals and priorities. And we recommend that Boyer identifies his priority work, list everything he has to do, sort out the most important and urgent tasks, and concentrate on them first. So base his priorities not just on what he's assuming is important, but also what his managers consider important to the organization as well. Teams should really be working in unison rather than working against each other, and he should consider what he wants to achieve and work on that first, plan steps and as to how he wants to achieve that goal for himself and the company as well. Thank you.